Okay, I wanted to make another video about the next gun that I want. I just recently noticed this gun, and the bugs bit me bad. I really want this guy for some reason, and that is the Beretta. I never knew this gun existed before. Until a couple days ago I saw it, and I'm in love. It's been around for years apparently, but the Beretta CX4 Storm. You can see here it is on the Beretta website. What is this? For some reason, I've become kind of infatuated lately with 9mm carbines. And why is that? Well, I like shooting my AR, but it's expensive. I'm poor. And the ammo is $7 for a box of 20. And this is like, I can't imagine what it was back in the ammo shortage days and stuff. I've just gotten mainly back into shooting halfway heavily in the last couple of years. I mean, I was vaguely aware of the ammo shortage before that. I had a buddy who used to go to the store. I went to the store with him once or twice. This guy, he had it, he was just a kid. He had it, figured out, like, oh, Walmart gets their shipments at 9 a.m. and he would come in and they would assign people numbers. It'd be 5 or 6 guys that would do this, and they'd all get allowed, a box or whatever, everything. He'd buy this ammo and he'd resell it. He had once, I guess, a rich guy or something. He had one main customer, a guy who'd pay like double, triple, I don't know, a lot of money for the ammo that he'd go to Walmart and wait in line for. He had one major customer. So yeah, he made a lot of money scalping ammo to this one guy. Like I said, maybe he was a doctor or a lawyer or something, who more or less couldn't be arsed to go to Walmart at 9 a.m. or didn't know how to, didn't know how to get a hold of ammo. Yeah, so I remember, going to Walmart with this guy once. I probably bought a box for him because there was a limit, a certain amount of boxes per person. So yeah, I'm always kind of aware of what's going on in shooting sports, even when I wasn't back into shooting heavily. So I knew the ammo, my dad is a huge gun nut, so I was aware of the ammo shortage the last few years, but not acutely. I wasn't out there looking for 22 ammo. I wasn't really shooting. I had like a Glock under my bed for self-defense, and that's about it. I didn't really care. I didn't have a range membership. I might go once in a blue moon with my dad. That's about it. I didn't really have any guns. I believe I just pretty much had the Glock for a long time. Maybe my little North American Arms Mini 22 mag. But anyway, so 9mm ammo though is cheap. Right now, white box, so-called, Federal, I think it is, or Winchester. I'm not sure which. I think it's Federal. I think it's Winchester. I'm not sure. But white box, reliable, full metal jacket, ball, brass case, brand name. 9mm ammo at Walmart is like $18.74 for 100. I think it's even $1 less than that now. I think last time I was at Walmart it was like $17.86 for 100. When I told my dad that, he said I can't reload it for that cheap, which I didn't know how cheap reloading was, but I thought it was significantly cheaper than that. But yeah, so $18 for a box of 100, and I believe it was 19. And then it was down to like $17.84, like 18 basically, I believe, last time I was there. So you're looking at $18 for a box of 109mm. Stuff's cheap. It's not 22 cheap, obviously, because I got a 325 box of 22 for $17.25 at Walmart. But it's real cheap. It's half the price, basically, of 5.56 ammo. 5.56 ammo. Now, you can get 5.56 ammo cheaper if you want to buy bulk, but I ain't spending $250 to $300 on ammo. I'm just not. For that price, I can buy a freaking gun, and I don't shoot enough to make it worth it. I mean, it probably all comes out in the wash where over time, yeah, I'll spend that much anyway. But honestly, I don't ever know if I may just quit the shooting bug any day, or not. I already kind of, I signed up for a range membership for $160 around here. It's a cool range because it's outdoor and it's there's a big lock gate. They give you a key. They tell you, come and go as you please. There's no range officers. So I love all that because I'm kind of a loner. I don't want somebody breathing down my neck. And they have these little side ranges, about 4 of them. And you can go there most of the time. There's not many people there. You can go to one of these little side ranges. The only drawback to these side ranges is they're only probably 30 yards of space. So you can't do like long range shooting, but I don't do much of that anyway. You know, if you really back up, you can probably get 40 yards out of them, but that's about it. But yeah, you can go to one of these side ranges. This is what I always do, and you get your own private little range. You know, nobody else is going to come in there. It's kind of like if they're occupied, you don't go in there, you know. They're just ranges in the sense that there's a berm on all sides of them. So there's berm on both sides in the back, so you have it to yourself. You know, and there's like 4 of these. So this place is cool, but it's $160 a year, which is kind of steep to me. It's really not bad. But I signed up for it in early May as I was getting back into shooting, and I thought, well, I need a place to shoot my guns. I went there with my dad because you can go there. You can't. The one thing I don't like about it is that you can't just go there and like pay $10 to shoot. You have to get the year membership only. Well, you can go there and pay $10 to shoot, but it has to be with a member. Like they have to invite you. So I would go with my dad. He has a membership, and he'd have to pay. He'd usually be nice and pay for me, or I have to pay, one or the other. $10 is what you got to pay. You just drop it at this. They have this little office, and it's kind of on the honor system if nobody was there, which was most of the time. But yeah. So I got this membership, $160 this range. So I wanted to shoot a lot. I wanted to take advantage of it. I didn't want to be like, I spent $160. And I want to throw 3. So for the first few weeks that I was at this range, I went out regularly, like every week shooting. So ammo was costing me, you know, because just to shoot 40 rounds, let's say, at 5.56, that's $14. 60 rounds, that's only 2 mags. That's $21. You know, $20 for just 60 rounds, which is, you know, a decent amount if you space it out, but it's not. So yeah, basically it's kind of expensive, and you know, so that's that. The 9mm is half the price, you know. So, I discovered, I was trying to say that I really like shooting my rifle better than my pistols. You know, I haven't done a lot of shooting in my adult life. I mean, I have with my dad and stuff, but I hadn't done much shooting by myself, you know. So shooting by myself, I kind of just discovered I really like shooting rifles better than my pistols. I have like 4 or 5 pistols, but I like shooting my AR better. So that's one of the reasons I got that Smith & Wesson M&P 1522 in my other video, because I wanted to shoot an AR style rifle but with cheap ammo. But to be honest, I've already kind of gotten bored of that Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. It's fun, it's cheap, it's probably saved me a decent amount of money in ammo already. But I don't know, it's just the ammo's not powerful, you know. It's just not. You know, I forgot, like I said, I've been out of shooting so much, I kind of forgot what a 22 is really like. I mean, of course I remember it. I've shot thousands of rounds of 22 in my life, but most of it when I was a kid, teenager, so forth. I don't really remember it. So getting just back in after maybe 15 years of not shooting 22 and shooting it again, you know, I remember, you know, I get reinforced with what it was like. And it's you know, it's not powerful. It's almost like a pellet gun. I don't even wear hearing protection when I shoot 22. Maybe that's a bad. You know, it's a rifle, so it's kind of quiet. It's not like a pistol would probably be loud. But like, I don't even bother wearing hearing protection when I'm shooting it, because it's really almost not much more of a crack than an air rifle, you know? Very quiet. Very mild round. And I do think a 22 is a good idea, but I wish I had some kind of like property to shoot it on. I don't own property, but I want to plink with it. I want to shoot squirrels. The most fun I have ever had shooting, it's probably when I was a kid. My dad would take me out to this Nature's River and his friend, and we just shoot at shit in the water, you know, like we'd throw a bottle in there, shoot it, you know. It's so fun. You look for snakes to shoot, anything like that. Now that's fun, you know. But I can't replicate that experience on a range, you know. I'm not allowed to shoot anywhere but downrange. I'm not allowed to, you know, I don't have property to wander around. I don't have a body of water to shoot on, a pond or anything. I wish I did, because I find that so fun for some reason. You know, just shooting at snakes, frogs, anything. That's fun. So if I had that available, then a 22 would probably be tons of fun for that, but I don't. So just shooting a 22 on a range, I find it boring, you know. I mean, it was fun. Of course, a new gun is always fun to shoot first 3 times or so. But honestly, I'm already a little bored of my M&P 1522. Now, again, I'm on a tight budget. I've mentioned it in other videos. I can't just go off and spend a bunch of money. I can't keep doing this. I'm already, like I said, I'm going to get an Xbox One X in a couple weeks. That's $460. You know, on and on. I'm spending so much money. I can't. This Beretta CX4 Storm, I'll get to talking about the price in a minute. But it's about $600. So I can't buy, you know, I'm buying this Xbox for $400. This for, see, that's $1,100 just on toys right there. You know, I have responsibilities. You know, I can't, I feel like, yeah, I just can't do that. I mean, I can, but it's not responsible. So, I think that I will have to sell some guns to get this Beretta. Which I've been kind of thinking about doing anyway. But I really want this gun. I don't know why. Sometimes things in life grab me, and I want it on such a visceral level. I just want it, and there's no, you know, they're stopping me, but I want it so bad, you know, and I don't know what it is about this Beretta, but like looking at this picture of this guy holding it, oh, I just love the way it looks. Now, I was watching a video with it, and somebody was saying that's the ugliest damn gun I ever seen. So it's obviously your mileage may vary. Apparently some people think it's terrible. I love it. I don't know why. It just grabs something deep inside me. You know, there's just certain things. I remember when I was looking at buying a truck, there was like a GMC Canyon 4x4. Oh my gosh, I loved the way that truck looked. You know, I wanted it so bad. I didn't end up getting that truck because as usual I'm so sensible, you know. Then I ended up just getting a boring 2-wheel drive version. But, you know, I did get that same kind of truck. A lot of it based on looks. And I think I've recounted this before, but how I was once having a conversation with a guy and I mentioned like, oh, I want that truck because it looks cool. And he was like, I don't care how my truck looks. I want to make sure it's a good truck. Well, everybody's different. I care how my truck looks, as well as, of course, I want it to be a good truck. But part of me will just see something and just viscerally want it. And I remember being this way with like Glocks. When I bought my Glock, I didn't have a real gun except I had a little Colt Mustang 380 at the time. And that was kind of my all-around home defense, self-defense, everything gun. And funny story, those were really in demand because I went and sold it at the gun show, and I was just walking around the gun show floor with it, and boy, I got offers right and left. I mean, those were popular. That was after Colt had quit making them, I think. I think I only sold it for $400, which is not of this world, but I'm talking about I walked 2 steps, and immediately the dealer was like, hey, what you got there, man? You know, hey, I'll take that, you know. Wow, what you looking for? Those Mustangs were popular, boy. Anyways. So, yeah, so that was my only gun, and then I was messing around with a kind of a buddy, and he needed a Glock, and I just was like, oh, I gotta get a Glock. It looks so cool. So, you know, now I find my Glock boring as heck, but just for that 1 month 10 years ago, you know, I was like, oh man, Glocks look so neat. I gotta have one. You know, and I'd seen a million Glocks. I knew what a Glock was. I see them in movies all the time. I didn't care before, but it just grabbed me one day. Oh, I gotta have a Glock. Like that same feeling is just grabbing me about this CX4 Storm. I love the way it looks. I just love the idea of a 9mm carbine for some reason, and I've been looking at a few different ones. I just love it. Just a lightweight, just even the word carbine, I just love it. The cheap ammo, you know, there's a lot of power in a 9mm. That's the thing. It's you know, I see all these people poo-pooing 9mm carbines online and YouTube comments and stuff, and they'll say like, oh, well, I would never get one of these. I'd get a real rifle. What good is a 9mm? You know, get a real rifle with stopping power like an AR. You know, okay. You know, you like, what's your point? I have a real AR too. I want this on top of it, and I just don't get it. You know, I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, it's all just. Do you think a 9mm is not powerful enough? You know, especially coming out of a rifle-sized barrel, where it's going to be like, you know, significantly more powerful than a pistol. It's plenty, you know. But I don't know. This thing just appeals to me, and I gotta have one. I'm honestly already plotting it. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna get this guy? I'm thinking I'm probably gonna sell 2 of my guns to get it. I may have to sell the M&P 1522, And as I said, unless I get some property or something, I don't see a lot of reason to have the M&P 1522. I mean, I'd much rather have this 9 and have it be a lot more fun than that, you know? And I figure if I ever do need another 22, you can always get them super cheap. You can get a 1022 for 200, a Marlin model. There's a certain Marlin, I think it's a model 76 or something. That's also 200. It's also just, you know, it's one of these guns that's been around for 50 years and been reliable as dirt for 50 years. And it's beloved. You know, it's even more beloved in its weird way than the 1022. You can't buy as many accessories for it or anything, but everyone who owns one just loves it. And it'll just never stop running. And it's a great gun. And it's like $199. You know, it's crazy cheap. So I could get one of those, you know, and I think I'd be just as happy as with my Ruger, you know. I mean, my M&P 1522. But I mean, I'm really thinking I really want this gun. I may be throwing my guns up on arms, a couple of guns up on arms. I got to decide what to sell, though. I can sell the M&P 15, but I can only bet on getting 300 out of it. If I get more, great, but I well may not. If somebody's smart to the fact that they can just get one online for 300. I may not even get 300 for it, but I'll hold out for 300. But yeah, I mean, I want this Storm, man. This is such a cool gun. And, you know, you may mock me or, well, you're stupid. You know, who wants that atrocity? Something about it, man. I love it. It's supposedly really reliable. It's a simple blowback mechanism, which apparently is really, really reliable. People say these blowback 9s will eat anything, you know, any kind of cheap Tula steel ammo, you name it. You know, I saw one video that said basically like a blowback, you know, design. Can't go wrong with it, you know. It's going to eat whatever you feed it all day long, you know. One criticism, I checked the weight, and since I got my M&P 15, I love how light it is, and I've kind of been turned off by how heavy. I know they're light compared to most rifles, but the ARs are kind of heavy when you get a full-size one with a scope and 30 rounds of ammo on the mag. They get pretty heavy, you know. So this thing, I checked the weight on it. It's real light. It's like 5.5 pounds. It's light, pretty light, which is very positive for me. Yeah, I want this gun, boy. I want this gun bad. I'm going to have to grab it. No two ways about it. Maybe put a little TRS-25 red dot on it. Go to town. So yeah, I don't really have a massive amount to say about it, but as I said, I've been kind of wanting to sell some of my guns anyway. So I think I will do that. And the second one that I sell is going to be the hard part, because I feel like I need all my handguns. I feel like I feel like I have too many non-negotiable guns that I really don't want to sell. The AR, you need an AR, okay? So my AR, I'm not selling it, so that's non-negotiable. Then I feel like my Glock, you know, it's like the most basic. My Glock 19, gotta keep that, you know. Basic self-defense, home defense, such a great gun, you know. Gotta keep it, you know. So you go down the list, and my car, I don't want to sell it. It's a great concealed carry, you know. You can go on down the line. It's going to be tough to suss out two to sell. The two at the top of my list, the M&P 1522 is definitely number one. I want to sell or could sell, because this Beretta will kind of replace it in the lineup anyway as the cheap ammo. You know, not nearly as cheap as 22, but when you can get a box of 100 for like $18, that's plinking cheap. You know, that means every time I go shoot, let's say I spend $20 and get a box, and that gives me 100 rounds to play with. That's a lot of rounds to play around with, you know. For $20 a range trip, so let's say, you know, I'm sure maybe the first time I'll shoot 40 rounds. And plus, I do like the idea of having a lot of different 9mm. I really do. Like, I was even looking at revolvers earlier, and I noticed like a 9mm revolver, and I was like, that'd be kind of cool, because the fewer different, because I was looking at basic revolvers, and I was thinking about getting a 38 special or something. This came to my mind because somebody was talking about how spring tension, and I leave my Glock loaded, and, you know, he was mentioning that, like, even if you leave a round in the chamber, the spring tension on the firing pin spring, it may not work if you leave it in there for a long time, and this and that. And this is a guy I respect. His name's Paul Harrell on YouTube. If you look him up, and he's not a wacko or anything. And you'll find a million different opinions, but not a lot of hard facts about the whole spring retention. And I left my Glock with the loaded mag for 10 years, and the mag functioned flawlessly. So that's my anecdote. He did mention somebody had given him the anecdote of having a Glock with the loaded magazine for 6 years, and he said, well, yeah, that's a Glock for one thing, and for another thing, 6 years is not a huge amount of time, even by a lot of standards. But I thought it was funny. He did mention, yeah, that's a Glock, and I have that same anecdote. I had a Glock loaded under my bed for like 10 years, didn't touch it, took it to the range, and it works flawless with that magazine and everything. But yeah, even having said that, just the idea in my head now that there could be some issues, and like I had never left around in the chamber in my Glock, but now I do. But now I'm thinking second again, like because this guy was saying that you could have some issues with the firing pin spring getting weak by being tense all the time. So now I took the round out of the chamber, so I also, for all those reasons, I was thinking about getting a revolver maybe as well, just kicking around the idea. Of course, I'm not going to get it anytime soon. So I was looking at Taurus cheapo 38 special revolvers, but I was just thinking, like, if I get a 38 special revolver, now I got to buy 38 special ammo. And like 380 ammo is expensive. It's like $50 for. I have 380 9mm in AR right now, and 22 mag. But I'm like and I saw like the Taurus, I think, makes some 380 revolvers as well as like 9mm. I was thinking a 9mm revolver might be a good idea just because it'd be nice to have everything be one caliber, and I already have a bunch of 9mm. I'm not a bunch, but I have like 150 rounds of it, and you know what I mean? The more guns I have that shoot 9mm, the better, in my thinking. I mean, I honestly would get that over any 40 or anything just because of the much cheaper ammo, and I don't like 40 as a caliber anyways, but yeah, so the whole idea of the more 9mm I have, the better is a nice one, I think. And so this would fit right into that. It's another thing that eats 9mm ammo. If most of my guns are 9mm, it takes care of a lot of my ammo. I only have to worry about one kind of ammo, and it's very cheap ammo at that. So, it wouldn't completely dissuade me from buying this different caliber by any means, but it's a thought. I do like having, if I buy any semi-auto, I do not see any reason to buy a 40, a 10mm, a 45, anything like that. 9mm is plenty of caliber for me, and I don't have any worries about its stopping power or whatever, and you know what I mean? I would definitely choose a 9mm pistol any day over the same pistol in 40 because of the much cheaper ammo and, all that stuff. But yeah, I want this Beretta CX4 Storm. It just touches something inside of me. I love it. Pretty sure I'm going to get it. The impulsive part of me would just order it, put it on my credit card, and worry about selling my guns later. But I kind of want to, be responsible and sell the guns first, have the money in hand before I get it, that kind of thing. So we'll see. And like I said, the hard part is figuring out the second gun to sell. I have 6 guns currently, and they all fill a role to me. I have the M&P 1522, the AR 5.56 Ruger, the Glock 19, the North American Arms Mini 22 Mag, the Ruger LCP, and the Car CM9. I like them all, and the hard part, the M&P 1522 I can easily part with, especially if I'm going to get the CX4 to take its role. Figuring out the second gun to sell, though, is going to be the hard part. And I'm really not even sure. Maybe the Car CM9, to be honest, even though I love that gun. Anyway, so that's just what I was, maybe somebody else will get intrigued by this gun like I am. I love this guy. I love how it looks. I just love something about it. I thought about the high point. Researching these, there seems like mainly only 3. There is the one I was looking at before, the, Kel-Tec Sub 2000, which is the one that folds, and it's got a pretty good reputation. I'm sure it'd be fine, but it's ugly as shit. That's really the main difference to it to me. And then there's a high point, which is more like, it doesn't fold or anything. It looks a little like the CX4, but much, much, much ugly. But it's ugly, and I just can't, It's like with that Pinty scope review I put up. I just can't do cheap guns. Something about it. I can't do a Heritage Rough Rider. I can't do it. I can barely maybe do a Taurus revolver even. I can't do it. If I'm gonna spend $200 or $300 on a gun, I would rather spend $400 and get a Ruger, a Smith & Wesson, a Colt, something good, something that's valuable, something that I know, a Beretta, something that, I can take pride in. I don't know what it is, but part of me seriously considers the High Point, but it's so ugly. High Point makes kind of a cheapo, ugly version of the CX4, sort of. It's not a version of it. They're different guns, but they're kind of the same concept. They're both 9mm carbines and all this. And they make it for it looked like online it was going for $230 to $250 at least, which online we can find everything dirt cheap. That's not super cheap. But yeah, this CX4 Storm goes for anywhere from $600 to $700. Online, you can get it for just under $600. So it's not cheap, but and a lot of the bigger places like Bud's Gun Shop are selling it for maybe closer to $700. So it's not a cheap gun. But man, I think I just have to have it. I'm pretty sure I have to have it. I hope I don't regret selling my .22 rifle, but yeah, I think I'm going to. So yeah, that's it. Got next gun on my hit list. Hopefully I'll be making a video about it before too long. That sure would be nice. Because I'll want it. I love the idea of 9mm carbines. I love the cheap ammo, but yet you're still getting a centerfire rifle to plink with instead of a .22. Well, 22s have the advantage of if you're out on a field or a pond or something plinking with a .22, you don't even have to wear hearing protection really, which this you would. But, negatives. One negative I saw is several reviews on YouTube have mentioned this, is that it apparently kicks more than you'd think. Because even though it's 9mm, which is a light cartridge and everything, something about the blowback action, they said. They said something about the blowback action because, some have said, it's not I'm just saying out of maybe 5 reviews I watched on this, maybe 2 or 3 mentioned the same thing about it kind of kicks more than you'd think. And some people were saying it's because of the blowback action with the heavy bolt or something. I don't know, but that's just something I'm keeping in mind a little bit. There was one other thing, one little comment bugged me. It was one little comment in the YouTube comments, and these kind of things kind of get on my OCD, but the guy was saying, these have a design flaw, and they have some sort of the mechanism by the drop safety, where if you drop it, it doesn't go off. Drop safety is malfunctions on these, and it's a little ball that goes into a groove. I know he's trying to explain it, and I couldn't understand shit, but he's basically saying if you point it up or down, then sometimes the trigger will lock up or something on that order. And he says it's just a design defect, no two ways about it. And I sent it to Beretta, and they just filed it a little. They didn't do anything about it really, because it's just the way the gun is designed, and it's a fatal flaw in these or this and that. I couldn't tell exactly what he was saying or understand it completely, but it kind of bugged me, because things like that will kind of bug me. But I have to say, I've looked at a lot of YouTube reviews these. Nobody ever really mentions that as a common thing, so I don't think it's an issue. I'm not sure what he was trying to say. Something about if you point it down, sometimes the trigger will lock up, I guess. And then I guess he's trying to say either maybe it won't fire when you're pointing it down, or it won't fire when you point it up, which is kind of bad in itself. I mean, you're going to want your gun to fire no matter what its orientation. Or maybe he was trying to say that it'll kind of lock up, and then once you go back to level, it won't fire still. I don't know. This guy was saying it's a fatal design flaw in his comment and whatever. But he was the only, it was one comment, and, try not to put too much stock in it. So hopefully, like I say, I've seen all these videos, and probably one of those things if you didn't know about, you will never notice, because there's a lot of things like that. People say, oh, this gun is a fatal flaw. And if you own the gun, you could have it for 15 years and just love the gun and think it's perfect, and never think that there was some problem with it that somebody else decides is a fatal flaw. It's kind of the ignorance is bliss type of thing, or even that just people online overblow little problems and try to say they're huge problems when they're really not, so you might as well just not think about them. So I don't know, but like I said, nobody else has even mentioned that in any of the reviews or anything, and so I'm not putting too much stock in it, but it did bug me a little. But yeah, I want this gun, and hopefully I'll be making a video about it for too long. So there we go.